Going over the other side, there's a few more functions here. So we have the phone buttons. When we have Bluetooth connected, you can answer and hang up your phone from the buttons within the steering wheel. The next lot of buttons here are what we call cruise control, speed limiter and adaptive cruise control. So that's all controlled within these buttons. When we go onto this instrument cluster down below here, you'll see a variety of information that's available. So for instance, we're in neutral here, we're not doing any speed, and we're down at 500 RPM, so that's idling along at the moment. When a driver hops into the truck, first off they'll go to the stalk on the right hand side, and they'll select the drive function. So we're automatically gone into third gear, that's our takeoff gear in this instance. The vehicle's going to start moving. We'll jump ahead and get the driver up to 80 kilometers an hour. Let's say they're in 10th gear. Revs are up around 1300. So driver's coasting along. Driver's coasting along there, 80 kilometers an hour. You can see here that none of this is displayed, it's not activated. What you can do is start using these buttons here. So you can press the limiter button. And when you look at this part of the instrument cluster, it says you're in limiter mode. And we can set that. So we've set it at the speed we're doing, that's 80 kilometers an hour. So now we have our limiter function activated and we cannot exceed 80 kilometers an hour with the truck. Certain instances where you might use that obviously to maintain speed limit, but also when you're coasting down a hill, you might set the speed limit at 80 and that will tell the truck to automatically start applying engine brakes and things like that to maintain that speed where possible. Now the other functions from within here, so you've got the limiter button up above that, you've got this little display of, it looks like an odometer with an arrow next to it. When you press that, it toggles between, you can see the display changing here, so you've got the odometer with the arrow, which is the cruise control function, or you can toggle it to adaptive cruise control. So when you see a vehicle above it, that means you're in the adaptive cruise control mode, or proximity control we call it. So first off, let's show the cruise control. Pretty straightforward, very similar to all cruise control systems. Click set, and that's going to set your cruise at 80 kilometers an hour, because that's what your odometer is set at. And then you've got plus and minus on these same buttons, so you can go up in half-kilometre increments. Now if we toggle over to the adaptive cruise control function, you can see this car is set up here now. We've set our speed at 60 kilometers an hour. I'm going to increase that to 70 kilometers an hour. What I'm going to do is bring up this function. So this is the vehicle display. So what it's showing is we're approaching a vehicle. This will actually display on the instrument cluster. So when it sees this vehicle coming ahead of it, as soon as it gets down to, this is the distance, this white line. So as soon as it gets down to 39 metres, our vehicle said, hang on, we're getting too close to this truck, we're going to back off. So you can see it's, even though our cruise is set at 70 kilometres an hour, it's adjusted our speed down, so we've gone down to about 63 kilometres an hour, which is the same speed of the vehicle in front. Now if this vehicle was to start moving again, that vehicle's sped up and it's taken off, the truck's detected that the gap's opening up again, and it's increased our speed back up to 70 kilometres an hour again. Now once that vehicle's gotten out of sight, it's no longer displayed on the dash. So this is how the adaptive cruise control function works. So we'll speed up and slow down for vehicles in front of us. Now a new function we have, because this is Active Brake Assist 3 now, and proximity control is the newest version of it. If the vehicle in front, you can see it's slowed right down, it's doing 56 kilometres an hour. So our vehicle slowed us down to that. But if you're in freeway traffic and it's bumper to bumper, if that vehicle comes to a complete stop, the adaptive cruise control will stop our vehicle as well. It'll come to a complete stop. Once the traffic starts moving again, that truck takes off, our truck will start moving again as well. So it's what we call the stop-go function. So it's really intuitive for the freeway traffic or any sort of stop-go traffic. Now you can see as well, beside all these displays, we've got these two lines either side. So what this is our lane assist function. And what it's telling us is it's measuring a broken line either side of the truck there, so your standard lane markings. If this was a solid line, it'd show up as a solid line as well. Now if the truck sways to the left or right, you'll hear an audible sound in the left or right speaker, but also you'll see on the dash that it comes up red and it tells you which side or which lane this vehicle is swaying out of. Gives you a warning, gets your attention and tells you that you need to get your eyes on the road. Another function we have here is, like I said, these 3 white lines. These are what we call time intervals. So it's saying that these are about 1 to 1.5 seconds each. So it's saying that at a 4.5 second distance between these vehicles, that's when you want the adaptive cruise control to operate. What we can do is adjust that as well. So at a higher speed, you might want to set a bit of a distance to feel a bit safer. And you can say, all right, I want a 6 or 7 second gap in between these vehicles. So at 100 kilometres an hour, that's quite a bit of distance. But if we're in freeway traffic, we're only doing 10 kilometres an hour, that's quite a large gap there, and you're going to have cars jumping in front of you all the time. Not ideal on a freeway, because you know, when a car jumps in front of you, you've got to stop suddenly. So what you can do is close that gap right up to just a 1 second gap, and it'll close up the distance between you and the vehicle in front. So what I did there as well was I used this last button, which we need to explain. So this is the drive functions that you can adjust. So in an idle mode, you can click it once and it brings up this idle gauge. And what you can do is adjust the idle up to 750 RPM. We'll have to display that on the truck outside. Second function, which we just spoke about, is the adaptive cruise control. So this adjusts the time intervals or the distance between you and the vehicle in front. And the final one is your Eco Drive function. So with Eco Drive, this will adjust when you've got cruise control set. It'll tell the vehicle at what stage do you want it to start applying additional brakes or ancillary brakes, such as engine brake and things like that. So if you've got cruise control set at 80 and you have plus 9 kilometres, it'll allow the vehicle to get up to 89 kilometres before it automatically starts trying to slow itself down. The reasoning behind that is things, I guess when you're driving through hilly terrain, you know you've got your cruise set at 80, but you might say, hey, when I'm heading down a hill, I want it to actually go up to 89 kilometres an hour to get a bit of momentum to help me up the next hill. So it's really a fuel saving technique. So this is a sticker that we fit on the sun visor of our truck. So on the left hand side, you can see a vision of the instrument cluster plus all the dash lights that may come on and what each of those dash lights are. So some of these are standard operations, some of these are explained in malfunctions within the truck, but at least the driver can tell when a light comes on what it is quite quickly. On the right hand side, it explains the DPF function, the regeneration function. So our trucks are quite intuitive. Generally you'll only ever see the automatic regeneration light come on, but if you do get further stages down, it can explain what each of these lights are and what they mean. So if we just zoom in, it explains what each of these buttons are. So the red one's there. It's like a traffic light system, so orange lights are generally not a problem. The red lights mean something needs to be looked at. So you can see there it's a steering wheel malfunction, or the cab has been tilted and not gone back into its locked position. All your different drive functions, brake system malfunction if this one's on there, and then your standard headlights, engine brakes, park brakes, and or high beams and headlights. So I hope you enjoyed the overview of the interior of the new Mercedes-Benz truck. If you have any further questions, please contact your local Mercedes-Benz dealership. In the meantime, drive safe.